what's the potential for Russian insiders or oligarchs to mount a coup and remove Putin?
Well, it's certainly possible. One of the more unanticipated aspects of the way the war has progressed has been the effectiveness of the Western sanctions on Russia. And while most of the Russian people really aren't in a position to do much about the economic hardships that they're now feeling, the relatively small group of billionaires who Putin has empowered and enriched, and who they in turn have protected, are getting increasingly squeezed. Not only are many of them seeing their very, very sizable holdings diminished in value very, very quickly, but also some of their luxuries, the planes, the yachts, and so on, are all of a sudden becoming much more difficult for them. So we've even seen a few of the oligarchs, all but one outside of Russia, just to note, who have spoken out critically against the war. But I think the possibility of a coup, frankly, is a little bit far-fetched. And there have been talks about a revolution from the people, about a military coup removing Putin because the war is going badly, or the oligarchs who might be in the best position to remove him. I think that's a bit fanciful and a bit hopeful on many of our parts. That even while the Ukrainian military is persisting to a much greater degree than had originally been anticipated by any observer, either in Russia or in the West, this still appears to be just a very long, very difficult, very bloody, and very deadly slog. And so it's very tempting to think, well, maybe there's just a magic answer that someone or someones will sneak in and remove Putin from power. I think that's unlikely. It's entirely possible, the longer this continues, that the oligarchs, some of them, may pressure Putin to rethink his goals. And we've actually seen some evidence that Putin's demands this week are a little bit less ambitious than they were at the outset of the war. He's no longer talking about the Ukrainian leaders as drug addicts and as Nazis. He's no longer demanding their removal. So while his current set of demands is still at face value unacceptable to the US, and to NATO, and to Ukraine, he has scaled back to some degree. That may be as a result of pressure from his allies, but that's a much more likely way for them to have their influence felt than simply removing him from office. Have a good day, everybody.